Stuka Joe here, my first, maybe my last streaming video. I didn't announce it anywhere because I don't know how to do these things. I just watched a video in YouTube and it's like 12 o'clock at midnight. I can't contact Kevin Sharp, who's an expert doing these streams of wargaming videos. So I'm going to be here hanging around for, I don't know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes and record this thing. Let me get back to the computer and I'll be right with you. Okay, I got Europe in Turmoil set up. I've been reading the rules and wondering how the CDG solo method will behave with this game. I'm sorry for the angle, but the camera's like, well, at this angle. I got two people watching. One gave a thumbs up. Just to let you guys know, I don't see any messages coming in the cell phone yet, so I don't have a way of talking to you and or writing to you, so sorry for that. But let me show you the map of the game. That way I have it set it up so we can spend some time and you can watch actually something related to wargaming while I give you like a channel update. Well, before showing you the map, I've been away for a while. It was like, I think in July I made a video of Consum World. Then because reasons of my job, I had to disconnect myself from everything and came back to normal like 2 weeks ago. But then, oh, okay, here we are. So after I came back from my job, what I was doing, this last 2 weeks, I've been practicing, you see over here, I got my little keyboard because I play in a rock and roll band with my brothers and we're practicing. We have 2 gigs this weekend, so after that I'll be full-time gaming again and hopefully do more videos. So let's take a look at what I got on the table. Oh, the OG. Yeah, Devin. You know, you got one of my favorite greetings. The OG, hey everybody. I love that. Nice to see you there. So I saw the messages come out. Okay, so that's great. I mean, so let's see what I have on the map on the table. And this is my latest setup. Yes, nice to be back. I always watch your channel, even when I was busy with my work. Whatever I had a break, I watch your channel. Thanks, Devin. I use this. This that you see, this is a magnetic board, and it is about 4 feet wide. You see? Why do I use a magnetic? I'm really happy with this. I have this game set up, Europe in Turmoil. This is a card-driven game by Compass Games. It's based on the what do you call it? Twilight Struggle system. As you can see, you got 2 sides there. You got the, these are the authoritarians, and the blue guys are the liberals. And it's a political game leading up to World War I. So you have all the events like 20, 30 years before World War I. And then the game, World War I, is resolved abstractly to determine the winner. But much of the components are very similar. You have here, for example, the victory point track. Positive score, positive victory points are in favor of the liberals. If they get to 20, it's an automatic win. Negative victory points are those that the authoritarians want. If they get to minus 20, they win. And then there's a tension track, which certain events will increase the tension, and that will have an impact on whether the Great War is starts, World War I, and then you go into an abstract way of finding out the belligerents in World War I. And it's pretty cool because you can have Russia on the Entente or on the Central Power. I don't think they can be in the Central Powers. Italy can be in either. But you can have different alliances, different than those historically. So that's pretty cool, actually. And so I've read the rules, and the rule book has an extended example of play, which is the back of the book here, which I've read. But so far, I think I'm going to give it a try with the CDG solo method. And the challenges for the CDG solo method are, for example, these cards. These are cards that whenever you have a, how do you call it, a scoring card, like in Twilight Struggle, each side plays one of these cards, and this can affect victory points or control of areas. So I'm trying to figure it out with the CDG solo method how these cards will come into play. So I'm trying to figure that one out. And that's what I have on the table. And this is my first live stream. I got one viewer. So whoever that is, thanks for watching. I'm going to probably post this. I want to see how it comes out. And I want to see how useful, if you have any ideas of how a live stream can be useful in any way. What would be cool is if you could hook up two cameras. I have one already, but so you could, it'd be nice if you could play a game while we're playing a game, and the guys, if you're watching, you can give your suggestions on sound strategy and stuff like that. That would be cool if that could be done. So who knows? I'll have to get myself up to speed more in these things of live streaming, because I mean, it's got to be interesting. I can keep the camera shaking thing to a minimum because I have it. I'm sliding it on one of these sliders I have. So I think it would be interesting if something can be done. Who knows? Maybe the unboxings could be live streamed. I don't know. So I got 4 people watching now. So that's my career high. So for you guys that just came aboard, this is Stuka Joe doing my first live stream. I've been on for 9 minutes. I had Devin, the OG, the original Grognard. I think Devin was the first guy. So that's a milestone there. And I'm testing this. So I didn't announce it or anything. I have the camera on my gaming table, and you're looking at, this is Europe in Turmoil. This is a card-driven game about the events leading up to World War I. The components are pretty standard, but they're nice. You get a ton of these markers there. Oh, you think so? Watch anything I'll do? Oh, boy. Thanks. Thanks, Devin. I appreciate that. I'll see what I can come up with, you know. The game comes with a bunch of these markers. If you're familiar with Twilight Struggle, the counters are more markers than anything else, right? So, but then what's really cool, even cooler than Twilight Struggle, and I saw, what's his name? Somebody did a video on using even the method with this game, and now I just went blank. It'll come to me again. The Naval's Arms Race. This is like the space race of Twilight Struggle, but on steroids. And it's pretty cool. The British have to start the race. The Germans can't start it. And you roll, apply modifiers using the cards, and then you go down on each one of these, and you can see that the effects can be pretty profound. You gain victory points. Then you can play cards for ops and events once per turn, so you get some exceptions from the rules. So, oh, wait a minute. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. So this This table here is, from what I've read, and others have commented, has a greater impact in this game than Twilight Struggle. And I know Twilight Struggle is like the reference in CDGs. I mean, it's the most popular CDG. So making a game on this particular topic, which I find as interesting as the Cold War. I mean, these are the events leading to World War I, is something that obviously caught my eye. So you get that, the Naval Arms Race, and you get this player aid card, which has on one side the marker legends. There's some markers, like in Twilight Struggle, that have profound effects throughout the game. So these are those markers, and I'll show you where the markers are kept. But let's take a look at the map to show you how it's organized. It's organized into, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4 scoring areas. Remember, in Twilight Struggle, it used to be more akin to like the continents. Here it's, for example, France is a scoring area. And you see there, Paris has a particular characteristic. All other French scoring area spaces are adjacent to Paris. And one thing that this game has, which is different than Twilight Struggle, is look at the names of the spaces. Let's take a closer look here. You got Paris, but then you got French Riders. And that I think that borrows something from 1989. The space is not a geographical location, but a group of people, like French Riders. Then you have the French Catholic Church, and notice at the beginning of the game, the authoritarians control the church. And it's the same thing in Russia. I think they control the Orthodox Church there. And you have the army here that the authoritarians have one support point. These are support points, just like in Twilight Struggle. This is the stability number. So if the support points equal the stability number, what you do then is you take one of these, see if I can find one. Suppose the French place 3 more support markers there. You take one and you place it on the dark side that denotes control by the authoritarians of that space. But at the beginning of the game, you see that little crown symbol there? That means that one support point of the authoritarians begins there. So you can see in France has that characteristic that all these spaces connect to Paris. And why is adjacency important? Because when you are going to do, there's a mechanic that is called the support check, in which you try to reduce the support of the other faction. If you have spaces under your control adjacent to that, that serves as a +1 modifier. So, of course, having Paris under your control is going to affect support checks in your favor in the other spaces. And also, let me see if I can focus better here. Okay. You see there that Great Britain space, of course, in this game. Nice to see you, Eric. Yeah, nice to see you. I think I saw you over there at Consume World too. Big Napoleonic fan there. Nice to hear from you. Here, this space, Great Britain, you can't control it, but the game has a neat, I think, how do you call a mechanic here, that Great Britain is there to provide that +1 modifier in favor of the liberals, because it's adjacent to, you have here Brittany, Normandy, Picardy, Belgium, and the Netherlands. So even though nobody can control Great Britain, Great Britain's always going to be a +1 modifier for adjacency there. So that's the French scoring region. And you have, like in Twilight Struggle, this table here, where you have the presence, the number of victory points you get for presence, domination, and control. And also, you get a +1 for battleground areas, or battleground spaces. The battleground spaces are those that have the 2 tones of colors. Call this what, like the light brown for authoritarians and blue for liberals. So you have, in France, French Riders, Paris, and here we have Beau Monde. And you have the French Catholic Church. And then, interesting, and I like the way this concept about the groups of people integrated with the geographical locations works. You have the French colonials, which obviously tend towards authoritarianism. They have, at the beginning of the game, with one support point, they're adjacent at the beginning of the game to these three spaces, which are colonies, right? Which French colonies, and the authoritarians begin with one point in Algeria. Now you're wondering, what are these icons here? Each area has one, and some I think have two. Well, these are what are called socioeconomic icons. And from what I've figured out after reading the rules, the importance of these icons comes into play with these stability cards, which I'm going to talk about later. This game has a really nice twist to it. If you played Twilight Struggle, when you play a scoring card, let's look at the strategy cards here. You play a scoring card. This is the first epoch, by the way, called the Victorian era. Let's say that somebody plays this card. I mean, it's probably the authoritarians, the Austria-Hungary scoring card, right? So you would score for presence, domination, and control, more or less like in Twilight Struggle, and +1 for battleground, any battleground that space that you control, and also per adjacent independent space. Hi, John. Nice to see you. So you score. This is like Twilight Struggle, but here comes the twist. Every time somebody plays a scoring card, there has to be a stability check made also. And this is the stability deck. Each side has, oh, and I mixed some cards here. Each side has a stability deck. And this is the stability deck, for example, for the liberals. And the way this works is that each side secretly chooses one card, and then you reveal the card, and that's going to have some effects that, let's suppose that you are the authoritarian player and you played this card because you think, oh, it's a good time for me to score some points. And then you get outplayed here with the stability cards, and you may not get any domination or the points you were wanting to get. And then it has the other rule that has to do with this is that when you play one of these cards, it's out of the deck for the turn. And during the next turn, I believe you can, again, replenish all your stability cards. So you have to try to guess what the other side's going to play. I find that very interesting. Now, if you remember, Twilight Struggle had a headliner card option at the, not option, had a similar, well, kind of similar mechanic, but it was with the strategy cards that each side selected a strategy card as the headliner card. You don't have that here. So here you have this interplay with these stability cards. You have them every time that a scoring card is played. And I'm looking, trying to see if I can find the other stability cards, the ones for the authoritarians. I just can't find them right now. I know I placed them somewhere, but these are the ones for the liberals. Okay, so that's the stability cards. And strategy cards are very similar to those that you've seen in Twilight Struggle. These are the scoring cards for Austria-Hungary. Let me see if I can focus with this thing. Let me get back to here. Okay. See if I can focus. Okay. So you got Austria-Hungary and France, and these are the, what do you call it, the strategy cards. The brown ones have events that favor the authoritarians, like this card, status quo. The 2 is the ops value. You have the era here. There's 3 eras. The Victorian era is like the first epoch. In turn 4, we change to the Edwardian era. We add those cards. Then in The third epoch was the Georgian era, which is turns 8, 9, and 10, which we add then another deck of cards. So here, these are authoritarian cards with authoritarian events. And this is a card with a liberal event. And then you have dual purpose cards. Now this game, like Twilight Struggle, if I'm the authoritarian player and I play this card, which has a liberal event, just like in Twilight Struggle, the event gets played. I just get to choose if I play first the ops or the event. That's what I get to choose. And you see it has an asterisk, meaning if I play this card for the event, it is permanently removed from the game. You see it has an icon here. I like this because I'm one who forgets a lot of opportunities to place these mnemonic devices on the board. There is a series of counters which, when an event like this, which is significant and has profound effects, this counter gets placed in, I don't know if it gets placed in a particular space, but there's a counter for that. And they start in this marker pool there. So you can see, for example, this counter, which is the one for Entente Cordiale, is here. Oh, this is the counter. There you go. So I guess you place it somewhere. I know some of the spaces have smaller spaces to place these counters. Let me see if I can find, for example, if you see there in Belgium, there is a little space there. Something goes there. Okay. And so that's, I guess, the purpose of that. So returning to the cards, these are the strategy cards. The game comes with 110 of them, so there's a lot of events. Some events, of course, like this one, I believe, in red means that they're a precondition for another event. So just have that in mind. So the asterisk means it's removed, and I think my best recollection is the red print with underline. The underlining means that it's a precondition for another event. So that's the. Let me see. Okay, the socioeconomic icons. There's one thing here which is pretty cool, actually. You see all the kinds of icons you have. You have the star for government. You have the little pencil for intellectuals, monarchy, workers, annex, army, bourgeoisie, farmer. Then you have some churches here like Hagia Sophia, Hanover Church, Notre Dame, St. Basil, and St. Stephen. Why are those important? Because in these stability cards, you have those icons there. For example, if you control the church space in the scoring region, place 2 authoritarian strength points in farmer, worker, and or army spaces. So those are the ones that you have there. You see the ones at the right, you have the icons there. So these stability cards will impact the spaces with the corresponding socioeconomic icons. So that's one thing to have in mind. I don't know, I don't recall if the strategy cards make mention of any of these socioeconomic icons. I haven't. Let's see. Okay, these are, I was talking to you about the tension. The tension is what eventually will increase throughout the game and lead to the onset of World War I. So this is a card that when you play it will increase tension by 1. I remember in Paths of Glory there was a concept which is similar, which I can't remember now. I think war status, something like that. So this will increase the tension by 1 level. Then you have to make a crisis roll. Hey, Dan, nice to see you. You make a crisis roll, and the crisis roll is what will, if everything goes south, will result in World War I. And then you determine the belligerents, who's on whose side, determine the losses, and then you determine who won the game. And those particular mechanics, I just read about them, so I can't tell you a lot of specific information about that. But this seems like a very interesting take. Yes, and I remember Tim Korchnoi, Bare Bones Wargaming, he did a video, playthrough of this video. I think he used the CDG solo method for one of his playthroughs. And for those of you who know about the method, I may change one thing this year, just in a nutshell. Let me show you how the method works. For those of you who are there and you're considering playing CDG solo, I would recommend that you give the method a try. The method is just a way of playing CDG solo where you play to the best of your ability and each side, but there's a certain degree of uncertainty as to the cards that that side may play and the other side may have. So let me split the deck here a little bit. So let's suppose that we're playing this particular game, and how it works is there's a display. I'm sorry about the glare on the display. There's a display for each side with 5 cards. At the beginning of the game, you see that spaces A and B are in white. These 2 spaces always start with the cards face up. So we have, this is the authoritarian display, and over here we would have the liberal display. So we would start with these 2 cards face up, right? So this particular game has, each side has 7 cards. So you have to have like a card counting mechanism. And I'm going to use these little blocks to entice Eurogamers to war games. If they see maybe wooden blocks, they'll go, oh, it's a Euro game. Well, not really, but let's not tell them, okay? And here's 7 more blocks for the other side, because you can only play 7 cards in each. I'm missing 1 block for this side, so I'll use this. Let me see. No, I'm not missing any. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. We're all set now. Okay. So let's say it's the first round, right? So the way this works is you have these spaces A, B, C, D, and E. C is the draw pile, always the draw pile. This is like the wild card. So we roll the method die is going to indicate to us which spaces are activated and from which spaces we can play cards. So the fact that a card is face up doesn't mean automatically you can play it. So that adds uncertainty to the play of the side that you're actively playing, and you will only know a couple of cards, 2 or 3 cards on the opposing side. So that's the whole idea behind this. So let's say we roll for the authoritarians, and the roll was D, E. So we have to flip face up D and E. So now we have here, and I'm running on 20% battery, so we can choose from 4 cards which one to play. So let's say, and this is just an example, that we choose to play this card, Tsarist Repression. I'm the authoritarian player, right? It's a friendly event, but I'm going to play it for the ops. So this card will not get discarded permanently because I'm not playing it for the event that has an asterisk. If I would have played it for the event, it gets discarded. So what I would do is I just play it and it gets discarded, right? I played that card, and that was the first, record here, that was the first round. And then we fill this space with a card from the draw pile. So now we're going to go to round 1 for the liberals, and the liberals know 3 of the cards that the authoritarians have. So now it's the liberals' turn, and let's roll a die here to see what happens. And now the roll is this roll, C or lower valued card. So I have to flip face up the the C card, which is the card in the draw pile. And this is as far as this goes in comparison to the coin system, having a card on top of the deck. And now I can play this card, or for any allowable purpose, or the lowest face-up valued card. So I have to choose between this card, which is March of History, which luckily is a liberal event, because I'm playing now for the liberals, or I have to play the lowest valued ops card, which is this dual purpose card, right? So let's say that I'll play the dual purpose card. I'll play it for ops, so it doesn't get discarded, right? Permanent. Okay, we're back. It was so we played this card, goes to the discard pile, and now we fill this space up with the card that's in the space C. So now we're going to go to the second round, to the authoritarians, and it's okay to look at the other side when you're playing, because you can only see two cards now. Now we're going to be the authoritarians. You can only see two cards from the liberals. So now we're at round 2 here, right? Let me mark it here because it's 7 rounds. And now we're going to roll again here. And the roll is ABC. Well, AB is face up, so we flip C. Here is the widest choice that you'll have, which is from 3 choices, A, B, and C. The upside for that, of course, is that there's more choices. The downside is that there's going to be more cards face up when the other side goes. So now, let's say that we can play any of these cards. Stymied, is that the way you pronounce it? Okay, so we're going to play, for some reason, going to get rid of this card and play it for its ops, but this is a card with an opponent's event, so we have to play the event. Let's say we play the event first, and it gets removed. So by playing it for its event, it gets removed permanently, which is a good idea to remove a card like this now. And we remove it permanently from the game, so instead of placing it, won't place it here in the discard pile, I just leave it to the side. And now we fill that space up with this card. And now we go to the second round for the liberals. And we roll the die. See what we get. Interesting, C, D, and E. So now all cards are face up. And you're going to have, at times with this system, I haven't been removing these cubes. So this is the second cube now. We're going to play a second card, so I got to remove these cubes. Okay, so at times you're going to see the levels of uncertainty as to cards changes. So let's say now that we're going to play, all these cards will trigger events by the other side here, the authoritarians, and you may say, well, I can only choose C, D, and E, so I have to choose now between, death by hanging and death by firing squad. I have to choose one of these cards that's going to hurt me, so let's choose this one. Government-sponsored art. So let's say we play it for the ops first, and then we have to play it for the event. This event is not a permanent event. It's not an asterisk event, so it goes to the discard pile. And now the card in space C occupies space D. Oh, this one stays face down always. Now I've been rolling the die here. So these results are pretty straightforward. C, D, and E, A, B, C. There's D and E. And then there's A and B somewhere. Now this result is the one that I think I will be changing. This result, as it reads now, is that you play any face-up card for its event or the lowest ops valued card, but you don't flip any card face up. And that's what I don't like. And what I'm thinking about changing it is to, it's going to have a C. You flip the C card, which is the wild card, and then you can play the C card for any purpose or any event. And then for this particular game, it has to be any event of the opposing side, because this game, otherwise you're going to, the tendency is not to play the cards for the opposing side's event. And in Twilight Struggle, you have to play them anyway because you have a fixed hand of cards and you got to get rid of your cards. So I'm going to do something with this this result of the CDG solo method, and I may even do a video on that, and I have some people who are very interested in the system to let me know what do they think about it, about that particular change. So I'm going now into 36 minutes. Got 8 viewers, 4 likes. This is great because I didn't announce this. And I'm going to see how this comes out. One announcement that I want to make is I was planning on going to the convention, the new convention by Compass Games. I think it's in Connecticut. That's this weekend. And I decided not to go because, as I stated before, I play in a band, in a rock band with my brothers, and we don't have a lot of gigs. I mean, we all have real jobs, you know, and we had 2 gigs this weekend. So if I went to that convention, I would have ruined 2 of the probably 4 or 5 gigs we get a year. So there goes that convention. So I didn't go to that convention, but I'll try to go next year. The convention that I will be going is in Spain. It's called Second or Dos Bellota Con. It's in Badajoz, Spain. It's hosted by Sergio. Sergio has a YouTube channel called Wargaming Reviewer, which is in Spanish. I'm subscribed to the channel. I'm a Patreon also, so I'm happy to go there. I know that Volko Ronki will go to that conference, so it'll be a chance to meet him. It's a 4-day convention. It's on January 24 to the 27th. So I'll be going there 3 or 4 days before the 24th. I was born in Barcelona. I'm going to visit some people I know in Barcelona, and then I'll go to Badajoz. And to that convention, I'll be filming video. So I'll have more practice in filming video about war game conventions, which I'm interested in doing. And that's it for this video. I'm going into now 39 minutes. Thank you for all of those of you who are watching. Just catch this video randomly because I didn't announce anything. I promise that the next one I'll announce it. This was really just a test video. And if you have any ideas of what kind of video I could do that would be helpful for you streaming, I have a ton of games out there. I could set up games, and I've read the rules of a lot of them. I haven't played a lot of them. I haven't played this one, so it is what it is. I just set it up. I may play it. I may do a video on it. I may not. I don't know. But this is what I have on my table. So for all of you who are watching, thanks for watching. And this is Stuka Joe signing off for now. Thanks for watching. Thanks, guys.